Howdy folks, today I just wanted to cover a bunch of just basic information. Hopefully somebody can grasp some of this, may help you out, but I'm just going to give you a little information on these large flow throughs. And like I say, it don't even got to be this big. You got a trash can, whatever, flow through. I'm going to show you what I do on this. And like I say, it don't matter the size of it, it's all going to pertain to pretty much the same thing. On the outside, depending on where you live, the wintertime temperature can get real cold. Where I live, you know, hard freeze, it's 24 degrees. So, you know, we'll survive. But red worms, 24 degrees, they're going to freeze in the VC and die. But I've had some in a bin, you know, like I say, I checked at 38 degrees, they were doing fine. First thing I want to cover real fast is on my flow through, the way I regulate the bottom vents even during the winter time. During the summertime, these flow throughs, excuse me, they're made to run open, so they weren't never really meant to close off, even the tops of them. That's how flow throughs work. But what I do during the winter time is I got this blue foam. As you can see up there, I got a couple of different size pieces. I watch the temperature where it's going to be at nighttime. And like this one I got open right now, but I'm fixing to close it up. I'm fixing to close the whole bin in for the night. As you see how I run this one tonight, I got vents on both sides of it. Or you can put a slide it over, put a piece in there, makes that solid where it's just like a cooler on that side. Then you got your same options on this side. Just dealing with it, I know what to do. So, but if it was going to get real cold, I would close this whole bottom in. And the thing about closing the bottom in is I don't care what kind of bin it is, when you get moisture in there, some worms will crawl out the bottom. As you can see how I harvest my VC, I let it sit underneath there, and then in a few days it dries out and it's ready to screen. Well, what'll happen when you close all the way in, some worms get down in there. When you don't have it closed in, a moisture's running on the wall, you don't get that many worms coming down there, so it's pretty much worm free. Another secret on these bins, if you're going to go harvest these flow throughs, you'd be wise to either put a light underneath here, or even like this here. You can see during the summertime, plenty of light stays in here. I don't have to worry about it. It makes the worms come up out of the VC from the bottom, so that way when you harvest it, the worms are up a little bit and you get worm-free VC. It's been working for me. Like I say, when I close this off, worms will drop down in here. I don't care what kind of bin it is, it's going to do the same thing. Okay. Up in the top, when you leave these lids off, as you see, I wash these walls down a little bit. When you close them in, moisture gets on these walls, and these whole walls will look just like this. This is pure worm castings. And the worms, they when this lid is off, there's no moisture on these walls. You will not see the first worm on these walls ever. I mean, you look right now, there's no worms on the walls. Even at nighttime, they won't climb on these walls. I don't know if it's the foam or what it is, but like I said, I don't worry about them crawling out there. I don't put a lid on here at all during the summertime. Another thing I wanted to cover, when my battery gets dead, let me show you right quick. This is Purina worm chow. It's pretty much, and I've had this a while, still ain't went bad. This stuff lasts a long time, and them worms love this stuff. But what I did is when I fed my bin, I put a little bit of horse manure bedding down in. And one other thing, whenever I find clover, stuff like that, I throw it in a little section. Gives these bins all kind of diversity. So, you know, you can feed them dandelions or whatever. Just don't be putting the seed pods in there and you'll be all right. I feed mine all kind of stuff. I have some of the most diverse food I put in here as anybody, I imagine. But anyway, what you do when you're feeding worm chow, you mist the top of the bedding, which in my case, I use a hose because this is a lot of bedding. The spray bottle will take me forever. And I'm going to show you, even this right here from my bin is actually too much worm chow. All this food in here, I mean, the worms ain't going to starve to death. I know people worry about it, but worms will even eat their own poop more than once if they're hungry, so don't sweat it. But all I do when I feed this worm chow is I'm going to show you. I just kind of, see how it's dusted? That's all you want. And then these old dried leaves and all, when it gets up on there, it won't be eaten. The worms won't get up on them leaves and all, but eventually they'll get to it. Let me do this side right quick. You see how I just, on this edge, you ain't got to be perfect with it. And I just sling it in some spots. And like I say, you can just, that's good enough. Sorry about the camera angle. But when you come out here tomorrow, all this stuff will be all churned up. The worms trying to get that worm chow. They love this stuff. I rarely ever feed it to them. I just give it to them as a treat. But you can actually feed your worms nothing but worm chow. Just depends on the person. And you will get some fat worms with worm chow, trust me. And anyway, this is BC I already harvested out from underneath the bottom of my bin. I did this morning. And the good thing about these big bins, all I got to do is once it sits there, is I take a, what is that? I just take one of these push brooms and stick it at the back of the bin and pull it out, slide it right on these trays. You're done. So easy on your back, you'll be all right. But like I say, depending on the kind of bin you got to work your best method. Just try not to kill your back too much. But like I say, there's a bunch of worms in this because of closing this bottom bin in. When you leave it open, you ain't got to worry about it. But it's some good VC right here. It's nice where it's dry enough to screen, but it's not dried out. And I keep this in the tub nice and moist. And I ain't had no problem, so don't sweat it too much. And I think I pretty much covered it. The only other thing I want to cover is I found out these Repti heat cables do work in a bin this big. I mean, this is only a 23-foot cable total. I just ran it through here in like a cinnamon roll, and I forgot and left it on. I came out here and this part right here was 95 degrees. So if you got a thermostat system to run these cables, you'd be good to go. And I'm telling you this because this bin is like a cooler way it's built. So an open air bin, they'd still survive in a bed. But anyway, I don't know if I made sense on any of this, but hopefully you can grasp some of it. Maybe it'll help you out with a couple problems you got. And anyway, I guess that's it for now.